Well, after a great many of Tory MPs have now lost their seats, and well, at least for, if not the next year or a bit, really, they're going to be twiddling their thumbs thinking, what, oh, what can I do? There's a fair few of them that probably have a lot of very interesting stories, because I'm sure I've said this on this channel and elsewhere too. I would love to see what memoirs we get, because oh boy, I can guarantee you there will be a lot of MPs suddenly writing their memoirs from these very past couple of turbulent years. And not only that, but comparing them. Like, so and so comes out with a memoir and says this, but so and so also comes out of the memoir and also says this, this, and this. There's a lot of interesting stuff from this period, I think, that is constantly going to be very, very much picked over. It is going to be probably one of the most heavily over-analyzed periods of our entire British political history, really. But these memoirs are going to be, there's going to be a lot of them. Some, of course, are going to be popular than others, like if Michael Gove did one, that I can guarantee you would be very popular. Same if like Boris Johnson maybe wrote one or something like that. Who knows? But one person who I think is absolutely a member of interest in writing memoirs, Graham Brady. Now, for those of you who may remember the name, Brady was the guy who was in charge of the 1922 committee for the Conservatives, probably one of the most influential, powerful positions in the Conservative Party. And he, surprise, surprise, has written a book called Kingmaker. And oh boy, it's had some interesting revelations, to say the least. Interesting indeed. So, before we do get on to some of this stuff that's been at least reported, because oh my, some of this stuff is a bit wild. But hey, please do remember to click on the like, share, and subscribe button down below. There is, of course, the link to the Buy Me Coffee link, the YouTube thank you button. There's the Pony Club down below as well. And, of course, the Patreon page. Remember, it is Wednesday, so all the Patreon members and the Pony Club members, you'll be getting a Pony Club video today as well. So, as always, thank you very much to everyone who does help and support the channel. Even if you do, just click the like and share button. Remember to hit the like button, whatever. Hopefully it's gone woo and lit up. But as always, thank you very much to all those people who do help support the channel. And of course, leave a comment down below as well about who you might think might write probably the best memoirs of this period, or whose memoirs would you like to read from this period? But anyway, let's crack on then into this. This comes from The Independent. Boris Johnson called Tory MPs chicken S over Dominic Cummings' criticism, Memoir claims. So, Boris Johnson has described backbench Tory MPs as spineless chicken shits, as now repeatedly criticizing his top advisor, Dominic Cummings, the former head of the 1922 committee for the Conservatives, has claimed. In the memoir about his time leading the very powerful committee of backbenchers, Sir Graham Brady has now laid bare the backroom deals behind the most turbulent decade in Tory history. In a telling extract about the former Prime Minister, Brady has now described how Johnson was so irritated by criticisms of Cummings' infamous lockdown-breaking Bernard Castle trip that he even dubbed Conservative MPs spineless chicken shits. Brady then went on to claim that he said, I think backbench MPs have been absolutely contemptible. They've been spineless chicken shits. They need to develop some backbone. He then said that he then told Mr. Johnson that no sane person would drive with their wife and small child 30 miles to test their eyesight. The MP then replied, he's not sane. Oh my word. So, bear in mind, if you remember that entire saga, after being told that, yeah, no sane person would do that. They'd never drive all that way just to test their eyesight. To which Johnson turned around and said, "Yeah, he's not a sane person." Oh dear. Um, Brady also said that Johnson repeatedly railed against the anti-COVID measures, including criticizing the stupid effing 2-meter rule and the effing scientists. Well, what a surprise there. His book, Kingmaker, also revealed several attempts, and this is one of the reasons why I want to get this, attempts by Tory MPs to oust sitting prime ministers, including Jeremy Hunt, Michael Gove, and Sajid Javid, trying to get rid of Theresa May during the Brexit negotiations. And oh boy, part of me wants to get the book just for that period, just to see what these guys tried to do to get rid of Theresa May and their reasoning behind it. Michael Gove, I get. Michael Gove, out of all that list, I really, really do get. But Jeremy Hunt, Sajid Javid, that surprises me. Of those names on those lists, those are the ones that surprise me on that one. So, Mr. Hunt then went on to tell Brady that Liz Truss had to quit shortly after he was appointed to her as Chancellor. Truss, the then short-serving Prime Minister, was then gone 6 days later after a brief talk with Brady. In the book, by being now serialized in the Daily Telegraph, Brady also claimed that a series of now scandals involving MPs in 2014, David Cameron told him, he said, "The fact is, a lot of politics is just shit. It's choosing the least bad option, and life would be easier if colleagues paid their expenses on time and didn't snort coke and sodomize each other." And that was David Cameron back in 2014 telling him that. Oh my. Oh my indeed. Honestly, this doesn't shock me. Honestly, this does not shock me, but it's the fact that it is now being repeated by, Brady is like, oh yeah, here's all the stuff that you didn't know was going on behind the scenes. It's like, oh wow, I sort of expected that, but now I'm seeing it, for the first time. It's kind of shocking. And of course, it continues. Brady claimed that Cameron and Osborne had contempt for those who did not share their backgrounds. Again, big shock horror. Who would have guessed that they would have contempt for those who did not share their background? There is now 14-year stint as chairman of the 1922 committee. Brady saw the departures of at least 5 Tory prime ministers and was responsible for telling prime ministers that they had lost the confidence of the Tory parliamentary party. He was, of course, the MP for Altrincham and Sale West from 1997 until this July's general election, and he's now a member of the House of Lords. The current 1922 chairman, Bob Blackman, is now overseeing the Tory leadership contest. Brady's book also denied, and this is quite interesting because think back, during this time when we were the week before, there were all these rumors that Rishi Sunak was going to be couped, that the letters were coming in, that the reason why he called the election early was because he was going to have all these letters flooding in, or at least they'd nearly reached the limit, and this is why he had to call the election. And of course, you'll also remember the coup attempt afterwards to try and stop this. That failed, but as well. But this is interesting from this time. So, in Brady's book, he also denied the speculation that Rishi Sunak was forced to call a general election to avoid a vote of no confidence and being forced by now Tory MPs. This rumour had emerged that Brady had received around 50 of the 53 letters of no confidence required to trigger a ballot. Remember, we talked about those rumors at the time that Brady had a lot of letters. So this is interesting that he's now come out and said, I never even had those letters. And according to what he says later, he only had 10. So only around 50 of the 53 letters of no confidence to trigger a ballot, but but in an extract now published in the Telegraph, he said a rumor spread that Rishi had called the election because I told him that he was about to face a confidence vote. I had given no such indication, and we were as we head off towards the smoke of battle, there were just 10 letters sitting in my safe. Interesting interesting times, certainly there. I'm gonna have to get this book. I really am, because I'm really interested to see those coup attempts to try and oust Theresa May, especially by Hunt and by Javid. um, Michael Gove doesn't surprise me. But I think the reasoning behind that would sort of interest me more, what was going on there. So I'm probably going to end up picking up this book at some point, because I'm going to be interested else, like what's in there. You know, you've got all like the big juicy stuff, as they always do when they release these books. But very often there's like other stuff that gets revealed. You know, we may remember when we went over Johnson at 10, the fact that a lot of like the aides at the time were like terrified about the fact that Johnson and Gove were like getting into like a massive shouting match, or worried that it was going to like come to fisticuffs. So they're like terrified of like leaving them in a room by themselves. That never ever got reported or got put in the press, but it's in the book, Johnson at 10. Um, but yeah, what else could be in there? I'm intrigued to know. So, as always, thank you very much for watching, and of course, down below, all the links: Patreon, Buy Me Coffee, etc. And of course, don't forget to click the like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you all next time.